Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we are doing the Cozy New Releases video, and these are books that came out in March. I'm going to be reading 3 different books for this video. 2 are sci-fi and 1 is a fantasy book, and I'm really excited for these. I say that at the start of every one of these videos, and I really hope we do not get the curse that has been happening for the last 4 months where I end up DNFing the very first book that I read. I really hope that doesn't happen. It's been getting kind of like frustrating at this point. I do have high hopes of these, especially the 2 sci-fi. I'm really looking forward to it. I've had really good results with reading sci-fi books lately, so I'm really hoping that it continues with these 2, and one of them is by an author I already know, so it should be a good time. The first one, it has already been released. It was actually released, I think, yesterday or the day before, on like the 4th of March or the 5th of March. One of the 2. But that book is the book I'll be starting first, which is Guard in the Garden by Z.S. Diamante. And this one is, I saw a little reel that the author did that said that it was based on a veteran, and he himself is a veteran, and he's writing a cozy fantasy about kind of like healing and the after effects of it all. I think it's going to be absolutely wonderful. So this is going to be the book that I start off with for this video, because the other 2 haven't been released yet. So the next one that I'm going to be reading is Murder by Memory by Olivia Waite, and this one is like a sci-fi / Agatha Christie book. It's only a short one. It's released on the 18th of March and it's only 100 pages, so it's a little novella. Really excited about this one, as I always say, but genuinely I'm really intrigued. It's all about keeping... Should I give an overview? Let's give a better overview. So we are on this spaceship. It's a luxury spaceship. Dorothy wakes up in a body that isn't hers just as someone else is found murdered. As one of the ship's detective, Dorothy usually delights in unraveling the schemes on board Fairweather, which is the name of the spaceship. But when she finds that someone is not only killing bodies but purposely deleting minds from the library, she realizes something even more sinister is afoot. It sounds absolutely wonderful. It's also the start of a series. Well, it says book 1 of 1, so I'm assuming there is going to be more. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by this. Again, only 100 pages. This I will fly through very quickly, so I'm looking forward to reading this one when it comes out on the 18th. And then the last one is When the Moon Hits Your Eye by John Scalzi, and this one is on March 27th for this book, so a little bit later in the month. But this one, I mean, it's by John Scalzi. I really like John Scalzi. I read Starter Villain, which was a very funny, cozy, silly sci-fi, which I really enjoyed. I've also tried dabbling in a couple of other books but never fully finished one just yet. But this one is 329 pages, so like a normal novel length. Actually, the tagline says, "One day, suddenly and without explanation, the moon turns into a ball of cheese." It sounds really good. It sounds really funny. It reminds me of the Wallace and Gromit episode. I don't know if anyone else gets what I'm saying, but there is a Wallace and Gromit episode where they go into space and the moon is made of cheese, and they're like trying to slice up bits to have with their crumpets and crackers and stuff, and it's so funny. Like, that's what it reminds me of. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think the sci-fi ones in particular are going to be fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to this like cozy fantasy that is about veterans and seeing how that all translates into this cozy book. I have really high hopes, and yeah, we'll just see. Fingers crossed. I mean, that is the order I'm going to be reading them in as well, because of like publication dates and things. So hopefully it is a good time. I'm really excited for it. But I hope you're all doing really well. Let me know if there has been a recent new release that you have really enjoyed. You'll have to let me know in the comments below. But for now, I need to get started with reading some of these books. So Hermione was sat on the chair, so I thought, okay, let me do an update, because I wanted to do an update anyway, and I was like, I'll do an update with her on the chair, and she jumped down. She literally jumped down straight away. Like, look, she is right here. Let me show you. See? Can you see her ears and that? Look. She was quite happy up on the chair, but no. As soon as I actually press record, straight down. Alright, let me sort out this setup a minute. But I did want to update because I just had a realization about guarding the garden. So I was reading a tiny bit with dinner. So I'm up to chapter 13, page 105. It says I'm about 36% of the way through the book. Initially, I thought I would do an update tomorrow morning and it would be me just saying, you know, it's a really cute fantasy. I really like the world. It reminds me of these certain things. Yeah, while that is the case, oh, she's now clawing up my Kindle, or attempting to. But I was thinking about, I was washing up and I was thinking through what would I say about this book, because it's what I like to do before my updates. I kind of give myself a bit of time to reflect about what I want to say in the hopes that I can be more concise, which honestly 9 times out of 10 doesn't work, but I still end up doing it. I live alone, so I end up chatting to myself about it as well. So while I was washing up, I then came to this realization about what this book is doing, and it's so well done. It's so well done. But I'm going to start off with all the cozy bits first. So this book is ridiculously cozy. It's actually reminded me of the Shire. It's so wonderful. Like, we have halflings, we have dwarves, we have some humans, we also have orcs. In the first time we meet in our main character, Felton, who is a dwarf, he is in a battle against orcs and this dragon. And he gets injured in this battle. And so for the first bit of the book, he is actually recuperating in the medic bay. And he realizes that he has been injured really badly. He's lucky to be alive, and for him to get better and go back out into the war is going to take a really long time. This book, like, we're following, especially like the first part, we're following Felton's journey of accepting that the battle's over and that he is too injured to go back into doing what he was doing, and he keeps asking to be redeployed, to get back into things, and he keeps being told, look, we can't. You know, you cannot be an active part in all the training and stuff because of your leg. He's having to use a cane to get around, and he is so frustrated with it and does spend a bit of time wallowing. He's moved to live with his aunts. He's sleeping on their sofa while he tries to get better and get his leg back working and everything. And he's just frustrated and fed up. His aunts are really patient with him, which is really lovely to see. You know, they're not too stifling about it either. Like, they'll still make him like get up, do things and things like that. And so they don't treat him any different as a result, which I really like. But you can see it. You can see his frustration. You can see how he's kind of withdrawn into himself, how he feels lesser because he can't do the thing that he was doing before, and it is so well done. He went from being one of the most revered people in his group, and you know, he was always pushing, always doing more, always wanting to, you know, do the best that he can do and fighting for his country and home and everything, to now being reduced to not being able to do any of that and to not know what his purpose in life is. It is so understandable, and it is done so realistically. I mean, this author himself is a veteran, so you can definitely tell he's pulled on his own experiences, those own frustrations, those own difficulties of readjusting. That is so well done, and I really think you can tell when somebody has had those lived experiences compared to others that haven't. Not saying that you can't write about things that you haven't lived. That would be silly, and also makes pretty much every fantasy book redundant. But you can tell the difference. You can tell when they know somebody that's been through it. You can tell there's just like an extra depth, and this book has it, and it is so well done that I am just in awe. And so that's what this book is. We're actually following Felton's story and him recovering and getting used to his new change in circumstances and getting used to his new life. And rather than feeling frustrated and pushing out against it, I imagine we're going to see him slowly start to embrace it and realize that he can be an asset, just maybe in a different way. It doesn't have to be picking up a weapon and fighting. It can be in the little things. And I really love that. I think that's such a heartwarming tale to do. And on the surface level, you can read this as just a simple cozy fantasy. Like, genuinely you can. It is so cozy. You get so many moments of conversations about really good food and flowers. There's this garden. Yeah, I don't need you scratching my screen. Thank you. There's this garden that he likes, that he's gone to twice now, but there's this massive tortoise almost guarding it in a way, and he's meant to be really friendly, but Felton's looking at it like, you don't look so friendly. And you know, it's really silly and heartwarming and fun, and so you can read it as just a light cozy fantasy book, but there's also that added depth to it which I love, and which I feel like I have been missing from some cozy books that I've been reading recently for these videos. Cozy fantasy does not mean there is no depth to it, and that is something I will stand on a hill and like, that's my hill that I will die on, or whatever the saying is, because there are so many cozy fantasy books out there that do it well, that can blend the lightness with a deeper topic. It does kind of frustrate me when people say that cozy fantasy can't look into these deeper topics and do it in a way that's also cozy. And this book is proof that you can do that. 100%. It is such a good book, and we're seeing this journey of recovery and also seeing how others interact. And you know, I can honestly say that there are some moments where the conversation, the dialogue between characters doesn't necessarily feel realistic, but it does feel like what a therapist would say. But at the same time, why don't we normalize saying things like that to our friends? Like, why don't we just give them really good, nice life lessons that we know ourselves, and just being like, yeah, friends are there to support you, and like all these different things. So I think there are moments where it doesn't feel quite as realistic, but that really doesn't matter too much, because I think the overall storytelling, the world building is amazing, and the overall storytelling of this journey that Felton is now going through, I think is just done really, really well. So yeah, I am really, really happy with this book, with the way it's happened. I mean, don't get me wrong, like everything, cozy fantasy is not for everyone, so this book is not going to be for everyone, but I do think this is an example of how cozy fantasy can deal with those deeper topics and handle it well. And it does feel like the Shire. Like, it genuinely does. It really, really does. I really like it. We're seeing the town, like the little part that we're in, because like the town is broken up into different districts, and the little district that we're in is very cozy and lovely, and nothing much happens there, but they are dealing with the after effects of this dragon attack, and you can see like buildings that are just in disrepair. You've got the garden, which half of it, or almost half of it, was burned and stuff, and so you're seeing this town try and come together, or like this district try and come together to repair all of that, and it is lovely. It's lovely seeing them all come together. Like, it's a really nice thing, and it's just really cute. I really like this book. I needed a cozy book that was doing this. Like, I really, really needed it, because I've been struggling with these cozy new releases for the last 4 months, and so having a book that I can go, yes, finally I have something that is what I know cozy can be, is really good. But okay, right, I'm gonna stop waffling on this video. I'm gonna update another video, and then yeah, I'm gonna go chill out. I will check back in probably when I've finished it, because it's not a long book, so unless of course I have some extra thoughts and things, but otherwise I will come back in when I've finished this book. But yeah, it's been really enjoyable. It's a good book. It's not one that I can sit and binge read. I prefer reading it like a little bit here and there, but it is really good at what it's doing and the message it's sending. So yeah, it's really good. a while since I last updated for this vlog. We're in front of the sofa because we have lovely Hermione who is snuggled up in the blankets. I actually can't move those blankets. She gets very unhappy with me, so I'm just leaving her to chill. I have finished Guard in the Garden, and this was very cute. I will say I was very much ready for it to end. I do think it's a little bit too long. I think it probably could have been shorter by like 50 pages, but that's it. That's my only complaint. Like, genuinely nothing else is a complaint. I really like this book. Like I say, it does explore topics really well. I think it was nice that we had that added depth of trying to re-establish who you are, finding your place in the world, you know, it being slightly different to what you're used to, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Like, you can still find really good, happy things in your life, even if it's not quite as you pictured it. So it was very cute. It went exactly how I thought it was. Like, there was no surprise. I would actually say this book, it very much feels like a bit like Legends and Lattes, where it's almost like a slice of life fantasy, but put it in the Shire. And we're just having a day-to-day life in the Shire. You do get elves, you do get all these different things. Like, it worked, but the main bit that you're following is just in this little part of this town where Felton becomes the guard, and you're just seeing the day-to-day. You're seeing him getting involved in things. He has to be a judge at a pie contest, which is hilarious. Like, I really enjoyed that. Like, food's a really big thing in this, which I think is always cozy and comforting. We've got a baker that's baking different types of bread and constantly getting Felton to try them. Someone that's really clever in trying to create new things. Like, there is smith. You've got humans running this smith. I don't know what to call it. Like, I've genuinely forgotten the name for it. They're an ironsmith, you know, they're making different things, and the person that runs it, his son, comes up with loads of different clever ideas, and Felton helps, again, implement them in places and things. It's just really, really quaint slice of life. Make it fantasy. It's just really nice. So yeah, I would definitely say this does work if you like Legends and Lattes, if you like The Hobbit, the idea of the Shire, and just having a little bit of slice of life. It starts off with the battle. You get a lot of dreams that Felton is suffering with, bad dreams. It's all a side effect of everything he's been through. So it was just really nice. But I will say I was very, very happy for it to end where it did. I feel like eventually I'll come back to these characters. There is going to be a second book in this series, and it's one that I would, a bit like Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, I will pick up those books when I really need just something really cozy and cutesy and just like a palette cleanser from everything. So yeah, I would actually really recommend this one. I think it works. It's not going to be for everyone because it's very slice of life. Like, genuinely nothing happens. Kind of cute and relaxing and just, yeah, sweet. I would say for all the books that constantly relate back to, oh, this is for fans of Travis Baldree and things like this, I would actually say this is one that actually does that well. I find a lot of cozy books get that labelled, or as we've been finding, a lot of books are being mislabeled, but actually this is one that does it really well, and I would say very much for fans of Travis Baldree with this book. So if you like Travis Baldree books, maybe give this one a try. I think it worked really well. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with that. Thank you so much to everyone that was chatting on my previous Cozy Releases video and how we are going to be changing it up slightly. We are going to be going forward with just new releases. Obviously, if some of those new releases that come out, the ones that I'm really excited for, happen to be all cozy books, then yes, it will be a dedicated cozy one. But going forward, it's definitely going to be a lot more mixed. And I'm looking forward to that. I think because, again, I am finding gems like Guard in the Garden, which actually is cozy books. There are definitely points where cozy is being overused, misused, used for books that aren't really cozy because it sells well, which is a bit frustrating. And I'm really excited to be changing up a little bit and going for just like different books going forward. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if I've already spoken about that because it's been quite a big time between updates for this, so I genuinely don't know if I've already said all of this. If I have, I apologize. But the next book I'm going to be starting is released in 2 days time, which is Murder by Memory. And honestly, I think I'm just going to come in when I finish this book because it's really, really short. I think it's like 100 pages. Yeah, no, it's exactly 100 pages. So I'm just going to tell you about it when I finished it. And then because it's such a short book, depending on how quickly I can get through it, there is a potential 4th book that I want to read for this video, which honestly is a little bit insane, but the title just sounds so funny. Let me get it up. 3 Bags Full by Leonie Swan. And this just sounds absolutely ridiculous. I'm so intrigued by this. So it's released on the 20th of March for me. I think it's already available in other countries because I actually had this one spoken about in Discord, and that's what brought it to my attention. Then Leandra was talking about it. I'm intrigued. So I'm gonna see if I can squeeze this book in. It is 384 pages. What made me just laugh out loud at the idea of this book is it's a murder mystery book. And what happens is we're on this farm and the shepherd is murdered, and who's going to investigate it? The sheep. The sheep are investigating the murder. We've got Miss Maple, who is the most, like, the sharpest sheep in Glenkill and possibly the world. And they set off to find George's, their shepherd's, killer. It sounds absolutely hilarious. It sounds really, really quite ridiculous. It is the start of a series, but I'm really intrigued to give this one a try because it just, it sounds ridiculous, and I'm kind of tempted to get a physical copy, so I will probably stop by my local bookstore and see if they can order in a copy, because that does sound absolutely ridiculous. And I love this cover. Like, look at this cover. It's so silly. But it's also a translated book. It's translated from German by Anthea Bell. It was first published in 2005, and maybe it's just being republished with a recover, I don't know. But yeah, so that's the plan. So I'll next update when I have finished Murder by Memory, let you know what I think of it. I have really high hopes because of a sci-fi mystery kind of thing, and then potentially trying to squeeze in 3 bags full. We'll see, because I do have a lot of other things to go, and technically it's not like a brand new release. Anyway, right, okay, I'm gonna stop waffling on now. I'm going to update another video, and I will catch up with you probably in a few days' time once I have finished another book. Been absolutely ages since I last updated this video. I took a bit of time off from reading multiple things at once and instead decided to just focus in on the one vlog I had going, which at that time was my Hunger Games vlog, which I had a lot of fun with. And now I'm finally here updating this video. Once again, I just kind of forgot to update. So I read Murder by Memory. You know what? It was fine. It was decent, but it wasn't anything like amazing. I think I had a bit too of a high expectation for this book, but realistically should have reined it in a bit because it is only 100 pages long. So definitely the expectation kind of tempered it a little. So I read this book a little while ago, shortly after I did the last update, but just never got around to updating this video. And a lot of that was because I wasn't sure how I was feeling about this book. When I finished it, I felt very like, oh, okay then, and that was it. Like, thing is, there is a lot of potential, but I think for me this book needed to be longer for what it was trying to achieve. So the sci-fi elements in this book are great. I loved the world. I think the world building in this was really well done, very interesting, and obviously I'm not going to go too in depth into everything because it is only 100 pages long. The whole concept of it was amazing, and basically humankind's managed to work out how to live forever essentially by uploading their memories into these like digital books, which you can then download into different bodies. So they're kind of like producing human bodies, and then you can choose to download your consciousness into the human bodies. It really does explore a lot of how that impacts the world. Well, spaceship, this is all on a spaceship, but how it has impacted civilization, and as a result different things that have been put in place because of the fact, well, people are now living forever, so what does that mean for society? So that was interesting, and I liked those parts where we got a lot of explanation into how this would all work. But we do have a murder, as we know, literally on the title of this we know it's a murder mystery, and I just feel like the murder mystery side of the book let it down a little bit because it didn't feel as well developed, because it felt very predictable. Like I knew who had done it straight away. I didn't know why they had done it, like their reasoning, motives and everything, but I knew they had done it. I just feel like we didn't spend a lot of time investigating what happened. Our main character, Dorothy, she's interviewing different people, but you don't really spend much time with them, and there are moments instead where she gets a little bit more personal and you learn more about her personal life, which is great for getting to know the character. But, and also added to like the impact on how this civilization works, but it didn't really add anything to the mystery. And I feel like because you've only got 100 pages, that isn't necessarily something I would have kept in. I would have focused more on the mystery side of things. But the mystery felt more like an afterthought almost. But I am intrigued. I would carry on with this book, like with the series, because there is going to be another book, so I'm intrigued enough that I would continue, but it's definitely not high on my priority list. Like there are other cozy mystery series that I would be prioritizing over this one. So this is maybe something, maybe next year I'll be like, on my series that I want to finish out, maybe I'll talk about it and think about it then. But for now, it wouldn't be high on my priorities of series to finish out. Like, again, it's not bad. If you are looking for a really quick sci-fi novella with a little bit of mystery, this is really good for it, but it's not more than that. And I shouldn't really have expected more than that because it is only 100 pages. Now, you can do a mystery well in a short amount of time. I've read a lot of short story mysteries. Every time I talk about books with murder in, police sirens go off. It's like they know. But as I was saying, the sci-fi side of this was done well. I think what I appreciated most out of this was the concept of this book and how well thought out everything works, like the impact on society it has, jobs, money, different medical conditions, things like this. Like it was so interesting, so I really appreciated that side of it. I just wanted a bit more from the mystery, and that's where it kind of left me wanting more. But again, like if you want a quick short book, give it a try. Like genuinely, this was not a bad book. So Leandra has also read this one, and I knew that she was going to be reading it soon, I just wasn't sure when. And so when I finished this book, I messaged her straight away being like, have you finished this? Because I needed someone to like talk about with, so I could really like process my thoughts and feelings, because I was just like, oh, this was fine, and wanted someone I could actually unpack that a little bit more and see what they thought about it. And Leandra liked this one. She would continue on with the series, but she agreed with me that the investigating side of things did feel a little bit flat, but the rest of the book really is well done. I think the character work is well done. The world building is very good. The representation in here, the things that it explores, all of that is done really well. So the fact that they have done all of that so well, and then we just have the mystery side that is there, it's just not as well developed as it could have been, that's not so much of a bad thing. I think if this book was longer, they would have had more page length to actually flesh out the mystery. So I feel like it could have been so much better. It's good enough that I am intrigued, because I think we've done so much of the base world building that the next mystery we could focus a lot more on the mystery. I would be curious to know, and this is still definitely worth a try. It's just, this was a case of my expectations for to be more mystery leaning than sci-fi, but this is more sci-fi leaning than mystery in my opinion, but that's not a bad thing. So yeah, so this was good, very cozy, like it worked on the cozy level. I think in terms of coziness factor in this, I do think Guard in the Garden is probably that little bit cozier. In terms of which series would I continue, because they're both start of series, I probably would continue Dorothy Gentleman series, so Murder by Memory series, probably more sooner, because I think for me to be in the mood for Guard in the Garden and that series, I have to be in a specific mood for that, because that is very much cozy, quaint slice of life. So I feel like I'd be more inclined to continue with this series. But in terms of enjoyment out of the two books, I genuinely think it just depends on what day that you catch me on and what I'm feeling. Right now, I'm actually in the mood for like a thriller book. There's a new Ashley Winstead book that's come out literally the other day, and I've just been itching to read it. Like, I don't know why, but I've been really itching to read that book, so I'm hoping to try and get it on my April TBR, which I've not even filmed. That video is due out in literally 4 days time, and I've not even filmed it. This is very behind, so tomorrow I'm literally going to be filming and editing and getting it all done in the one day and trying to get up early access for Patreon, because yeah, I'm really behind. So I'm like try and see if I can get that book on that TBR, because I'm really in the mood for it. So like right now, I would honestly say Murder by Memory is actually in top spot because I'm in the mood for that. But yesterday I was very tired and I just wanted something really comforting and cozy and easy, and so God in the Garden would have been my pick. So these two are kind of on the same, which is pretty fun. So now we have the last book to read for this video. I know I spoke about Three Bags Full and I desperately want to get a copy and read that book, but I have a lot of other things going on at the minute, so I'm not going to squeeze it into this video. I'm trying to scale back and relax a little bit with things. So I will eventually get a copy of that book and I will give it a read because it just sounds absolutely hilarious. Honestly, I should have got my bookshop to order it, my local bookshop, but to be fair, it's around the corner. It's not like I can't just pop in and be like, by the way, can you also order me this book? I definitely will be reading that one. It sounds absolutely hilarious, but I won't be reading it for this video. So instead we will be moving on to When the Moon Hits Your Eye, and I'm so excited for this. And I think this is possibly going to be a buddy read with Leandra, but it does depend when she's able to read it, because I do want this video to go out on the 13th of April. So I need to make sure I have read, reviewed and edited this video all by then. So we'll see if she can. I think I'll drop her a message later this evening and see. I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be really good, really fun. As we know, I'm expecting this to be top of the list, and then it will just be on the day that I wrap this video up as to what position Murder by Memory comes in. And again, like I said, it just depends on my mood at the time, because I think God in the Garden and Murder by Memory are both equally as good as one another, to be quite honest. This has been really solid. I'm having a really good time. I'm pleased with the books that I've been reading, and they've really been matching those cozy vibes, which has been great. So yeah, that's where we're at. I will be updating soon when I've actually made a start on When the Moon Hits Your Eye and giving you my first impressions of it all, but we'll see when I get started on that one. It might even be next week. Maybe we'll just start the read fresh on Monday. We'll see. I've got another video to update. I've got to start editing this video and just get on with lots and little bits. And you know what? It's springtime! There are so many like blossoms out, and it's just, oh, it's so good outside. So I'm very much looking forward to just going outside. I'm at the start of 5 days off, so I'm planning to definitely get outside and go for a walk every single day, bearing in mind that the weather holds off and there's no rain. And so, I mean, to be fair, even if it rains, depending on how much it rains, I love it. I love springtime. Been another week since I last updated, and I have finally started When the Moon Hits Your Eye, and I'm actually struggling with this one, which is a shame. Now, part of it is my expectations. I wasn't fully expecting the narrative style that we're getting, which is every single day is a chapter, and every chapter we're following a different character, and we're seeing how the moon changing to cheese impacts that person's life. And while that is on the synopsis, I wasn't expecting it to be changing up perspectives every single chapter. So we're getting no real continuous story in this book. Instead, it's almost like short stories, little vignettes of if the moon changed cheese, what would happen to this person in this one day. And not all of it is connected together, so there's no actual overarching plot line to this book apart from what would happen if the moon changed to cheese, which is like, okay, interesting, and I like it as a thought experiment, but But as an actual book, like a novel that I want to read, I want something that flows together, and I'm not finding that. I'm finding it very stop-start. Obviously, in the nature of short stories, you're going to get some that you don't like more than others, which has definitely happened. There have been some characters and perspectives that we've had that I'm not enjoying, but I think I'm more bothered by the fact that I was so intrigued at the start of this. It was so funny, and I genuinely thought we were going to follow that, and instead we don't. And yes, it does say it on the synopsis, but I guess I just wasn't expecting it to this extent, where it really is, okay, it's just one little snippet of this one person, now we're going to move on, and it not being something where we come back to the characters. It's definitely more of a my expectations thing than anything else, because there have been so many people that have really enjoyed this book. So if you look on Goodreads, it's got a really solid star rating. People are really enjoying this book, and it is a very interesting thought experiment of what would happen if the moon changed to cheese, and just kind of hyper fixating on different people, like really laser focused on one day in their lives, what's happened to their lives since this has occurred. And the idea is that the book is going to take place over one lunar eclipse, and so each day is a different part of the lunar eclipse following somebody else. And again, it's a good concept, but some of it I'm just like, but what has that got to do with anything? I kind of get it, but I guess I just wanted more focus on what we had at the start, which was a person that worked in a museum where he had a chunk of space rock on display which turned to cheese. And then we had the next bit where it was looking into the president and all of these really high up people within NASA and science and all of this stuff saying to the person that's got to tell the president what's going on, what's happened. And that was really funny, and I enjoyed that. And then the next bit, we're looking at an astronaut who can no longer go to the moon because of what's happening. I thought, okay, so we're keeping it very science heavy, science based. We're going to find out what's happened to the moon. We're going to see, like, can it change back? Why did it change? Like, answering all these questions. And then it changes, and you start following people that have got no connections into science, or like very loosely. So like, one is a non-fiction author who has done this pop science book. It's like the fact that, oh, my sales have done really well because the moon changed to cheese and my book's about the moon. And it's like, cool, but what have you got to do with the moon actually turning into cheese? And I don't think we're ever going to get that answered. I don't think there's ever going to be something where we actually look into the moon turn into cheese. Like, whether we actually follow people that land on the moon, I don't know. I hope so, because there was inklings of that in one of the perspectives that we got. So I hope that that comes back. But at this point, there are certain chapters that I'm just wanting to skip. Like the one that we've just got up to, we're following a preacher, page 79, day 7. And I started, like, I've just read the first page of that, following a preacher, and I'm like, okay, it's interesting because, you know, how are you going to deal with kids asking you why the moon turned to cheese and why has God done that? Like, it's interesting, but it's got nothing to do with the storyline that I want, and so I'm kind of tempted just to skip ahead of that one because I'm like, it's interesting, but I want more of a plot narrative, like, to this book, of actually following the science of why has this happened. It just seems like we're getting a lot of repetition of what we already know being just regurgitated, like with the guy that was publishing a book that's now done well because of the moon turning into cheese. He was given a speech and just kind of regurgitated everything we had learned in the first couple of chapters. So I'm like, why are we repeating it? So I don't know. I feel like this is a really interesting experiment and idea, but I wanted an actual novel around it. Like, I wanted it to be fleshed out and following an actual narrative, where instead I feel like we're just getting lots of little snippets. But because we're getting lots of little snippets, we're also getting lots of repetitions of the same information, and I'm not loving it, which is so disappointing. And even here, like, I'm flicking through it while I'm chatting, which, to be fair, I have probably now repeated myself several times while I'm doing this. Okay, so this is one that I probably would read as day 10. We're following a character who I am genuinely interested in. So I feel like there are some things where it follows a narrative to do with, are we able to land on the moon and are we going to be able to investigate it? So, like, that is interesting to me, but it seems to have been interspaced with narratives that don't add anything to the story, and I'm like, but then why are they in there? Why can't we just cut those out? There was one that I just read and I'm like, excuse you? It's just the end of a chapter, so I'm going to give a really out of context quote. So we're following someone called Vera, and she's giving an interview, it seems like. They're in a room with someone and they said, while dressed up in a NASA jumpsuit, I rubbed Representative Michael Gruppo's naked body with cheese. saying it had come fresh from the moon, and then when he got excited enough, I watched him have sex with an entire wheel of warm brie. What? I don't want to read that. Yeah, no, I'm going to say this is a DNF. What? Oh God. Genuinely, I don't think I can scrub that image from my brain. Why? Why is that in this book? Why? I mean, I get it. Humour value and all of that, but I mean, the humour was there at the start and it was good and I enjoyed it, and it was nothing to do with having sex with cheese. And that's what's happening. Like, that's one of the things in this book. Really? Are we really going, like... I'm sorry, but no, this is not for me. And you know what? Fair play to everyone that's really enjoyed this book. There are so many good reviews, so do take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt. I do think it's a mixture of my expectations not being met of what I wanted from this book, the narrative style being just too inconsistent, following too many different people, and it not having a plot line to follow. I'm really intrigued to see it. So Leandra's actually reading this book as well, although we're reading it at different times. Our schedules didn't quite line up with one another, so we are actually going to be discussing this book when she's finished reading it as well, and I genuinely cannot wait to see what she thinks, because just wow. Well, that's the end of this video. I genuinely thought it was going to be going on for longer, which actually I have been talking for too long because my camera battery is now flashing at me. But yes, we are at the end of this video. Unfortunately, I wasn't expecting that. In all honesty, I was probably expecting to wrap it up maybe tomorrow or the following day, depending on whether I decided to continue reading or not. I was going to basically read another 50 pages today, decide whether I was going to carry on with it or not, and then go from there. But yeah, it's been decided for me early. So I'm going to wrap up this video here. So, you know, I don't actually know what to put in the rankings. You know what, I think I'm gonna have to do Guard in the Garden in first place, because as much as I would carry on with Murder by Memory sooner than Guard in the Garden, I do think Guard in the Garden was just the epitome of cozy. But just bear in mind, like, it's not really any plot apart from someone recovering from PTSD and dealing with that massive change in their life and dealing with a, you know, an injury that is now going to stay with them, relearning their self-worth and all of these things. I think it was a very, very powerful story. So I think for that reason, it's going to go in first place. Then we're going to follow it with Murder by Memory, although I'm more likely to continue on with this series sooner. I really liked the sci-fi world building in this one. The mystery fell a little bit flat, but I'm really intrigued to see where we go next with it. And then lastly, we have the DNF of When the Moon Hits Your Eye, which we already know my thoughts, so I'm not going to go back over it. You'll have to let me know if you've read any of these. What are your thoughts and feelings on it? I would be really intrigued to know, but I think this is quite a decisive end to reading the Cozy New Releases. In future, these videos are just going to be new release videos, which I'm very excited about. Next month's one is a couple of horror books as well as another cozy book. The cozy one, I can't wait, is continuing a series that I'm so excited for. The other two horror books I'm very intrigued by. But yeah, this was an ending to this. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Like I say, please let me know your thoughts on these books if you're going to pick these books up. I would be really interested to see, like, do you disagree with the things that I've said? You know, let's have a conversation. But I'm gonna leave it there. So if you have made it this far, then let's put some cheese in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Like, thank you to everyone, whether you silently watch, whether you comment, and of course an extra massive thank you to my Patreons. You all mean so much to me for your continued support over there and the things that we're gonna be doing and able to do, and I'm loving every moment of it. So thank you so much. But like I say, my camera battery is flashing at me, so I'm gonna go. Thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those three things really help this channel out. My social media links, anyone I've mentioned, Discord, Patreon, is all linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.